Well, good morning. November the 2nd and day 2 of 30 Days Creative. And what wonderful planning to start this just as a week is coming in that looks like it's going to be completely horrible weather. But as we saw at the end of yesterday's vlog, at least if you're outside, you can potentially make the most of just little cracks in the weather system. Brought myself along to another little woodland today, and again, looking at the conditions or looking at the woodland yesterday, I either think that all the autumn colour is going to be kind of non-existent, either too early or already sort of blown off the trees, or it's going to be a bit kind of turned over. But I thought I'd bring myself along to a little woodland anyway, and I guess I like punishing myself. Shot at this woodland a couple of times last year in my hunt for Red October, so it'll be interesting to see. It's my first time back in about a year, so it'll be interesting to see if anything's changed and if anything else catches my eye. So, right, well, it doesn't look like it's raining at the moment, so get myself out and see what we can find. Actually some really nice light. There's a pretty heavy rain shower just moved through, and the sunrise was about 45 minutes ago, and there's just that lovely, it's difficult to describe, but just lovely soft kind of pink hue to the woodland. Now, I've only just arrived, so I haven't seen anything to photograph, but just a really nice light. It's a shame that there's not something here. There's just complete and utter chaos behind me. But yeah, really nice. That's what I was kind of hoping for, that because the last thing I want is walking through the woodland with bright sunshine pouring through. So the fact that we have sort of big old fluffy clouds and a bit of diffuse light, now we just need to find a subject. Easier said than done, Nigel. Easier said than done. So, come across a little scene just here as I was walking through, and I think now the light has kind of dropped a little bit. And what was originally really appealing to me was, now you probably won't have seen this vlog by now because the whole one a Sunday every 4 weeks, whatever, as I said yesterday. But I was talking about this in one of my woodland walks in Scotland, where the light kind of falling on on the trees, and it's giving a really nice image of, or a text picture of sort of light and shadow. And whereas in that vlog that's upcoming, it wasn't really working for me, it's kind of working here because the light and the shadow, you can sort of see both sides, and I think it creates quite a nice sort of path through. Obviously the leaf litter on the floor, if that rain comes on pretty heavily, the leaf litter on the floor is just creating a lovely sort of rich sort of understory as well. But of course that's only really working when I engage the polarizer. Sounds like something from Star Trek. Engage the polarizer. And as you can see here, the polarizer really does make such a massive difference, as I'm sure you all know. So this was a composition that I kind of looked for, and obviously one of the big things that I'm trying to do is keep sort of reasonable separation between those trees. Now, it might be that on this right hand side of the frame it's maybe a little bit unbalanced because the trees are all on the left. Obviously I could move myself a little bit to the right and maybe sort of adjust that a little bit, but I just love that light and shadow on the trees, the sort of really rich understory. And we do have not at the moment, but we do have little pockets of light just kind of all the way along the path. So it's a starter for 10, just as that rain comes on really quite heavy. So I'll throw this image up, and as always, we'll wander on. I always find it quite funny when I'm walking along this river path, because it's on the opposite side of this river where I've taken some of my favourite images of this woodland, sort of those redheads, and one in particular. Now, I'm not sure which tree it is. I think it must be one of the ones here, because when I'm on the opposite side of the river, I was kind of pointing my camera to the right, and it just looked like a massive sort of flame. But here, it's just kind of carnage and really sort of closed in, whereas in the opposite side, you can pick out, especially with the 1-400, you can pick out lots of different sort of elements in the woodland. But yeah, always find that quite amusing. So another one of my little favourite scenes from last year, this tree here. I actually shot it over a number of weeks, watching the colour develop, and I really liked it. I especially liked the sort of really uniform trees behind it and how they caught the light, especially first thing in the morning. And again, it's another one of those situations where we have light and shadow on each side of the trunk of the tree, as you can hopefully kind of see here, maybe not too well with this camera, but you get that sort of light and shadow effect, and I think it just creates a nice little bit of depth in the image. I'm not going to shoot this today. I shot it a number of times last year, and I don't think I could necessarily improve on that, especially with the light this morning. So it's always nice to come back and check in on an old buddy, and he is looking, or she is looking, rather spectacular as always. Right, you know what I'm going to say, let's wander on. Rain came on quite heavy, and it's left behind not much light. Not that we had much light to begin with, but remember I was saying at the start of the vlog there was that lovely sort of pink hue. Well, now we've just gone into pretty nondescript, pretty overcast. So I'm starting to make my way back to the car. Now, one of the really nice things about these 30 days creative is I don't feel any pressure to kind of polish these up. Apologies if you came looking for polished and epic. This again is about me getting out and being creative, even if that means ending up with no images or sketches or something that I'm pleased with. The other thing that I'm affording myself is, like what happened yesterday, while I may be wandering back to the car now and we may not be getting any more shots from in the woodland, that's not to say that later on today I won't be back out with a camera. So we'll wander on. We might make something before we get back into the car, but it's looking unlikely. But we'll catch up at some point. Yeah, bit of a tough morning as well. But it's good to be out. Right, we'll wander on. So you may notice I'm not carrying my camera at the moment. Got back to the car, went to record a little sort of outro for this segment, and noticed that I had lost the little diffuser off the light mod off this camera. Not the first time that's happened. Design flaw. So I've had to walk about 3/4 of a mile back into the woods thankfully not raining anymore, and quite a pleasant morning it's turning into. So, right, well, given I've got no more camera kit, you can probably guess that we're not going to have any more footage from this morning at least. So we shall catch up later on today. Who knows whether it will be out with a camera or whether it will just be a little outro. I guess you'll find that out in about 1 second. Oh, well, welcome back. 5 minutes before sunset, 10 minutes before sunset. Don't think we're getting any light. We're getting a lot of drama out there, but we're not getting any light, so not going to shoot anything. I just thought I'd check in and close this. Oh, yeah, plenty of rain. We actually went and picked up our van today. We've been without the van for a week. Leaky back doors as usual. On the way over to Derry, the weather coming up Lough Foyle, which it quite often does this time of year, was spectacular. Some incredible rainbows and all kinds of other nonsense going on. And there's a lot more weather out there now. A little bit of light and colour, as you can see, up in the higher clouds, but certainly nothing to talk about down below. But the other very bizarre thing, I was checking back through my history, and the last time I was at that woodland that I was at today was exactly to the day a year ago. How bizarre is that? So I'm going to take myself off for a little bit of a dander. I shall throw up one other image that I shot just as the light was breaking through across the river this morning. Dander on, try not to get wet, and I guess we'll catch up again tomorrow. See you then. Bye bye.